Welcome. I'm not anywhere near my mic. How's it going, Jimmy?
It's going pretty good. How are you, Starbuck?
I'm doing well. Welcome to See Last Issue, where Jimmy and I dissect all things digital comic book wise.
And otherwise.
And share uncommon or unpopular opinions. So, we have done some reading for you. We weren't here last week because life happens, and sometimes it sucks and we don't have time. At least that's what happened to me. What was your excuse, Jimmy?
I agree with your excuse.
Okay.
That is also my answer.
All right, so, yeah.
I've had family in town.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're not from around here, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're it's a long flight.
Yes, yeah, if you choose to fly, it can be a long flight, and sometimes your arms are tired when you're dead.
I've heard that one before. All right, so did I introduce us? We're See Last Issue. This is what you're listening to, and we showcase books from Marvel Unlimited and DC Universe, and we are certainly open to your sponsorship.
And suggestions.
So hit us up at seelastissue@gmail.com. And
what was that email address again?
Isn't that what I said? seelastissue@gmail.com?
Yes.
I said it right.
Name repetition, so...
Oh, okay. I got you. I feel like my mic is really quiet. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, but I can also hear that mouse crawling behind you. So.
What?
I have sensitive ears. It's a weird birth defect.
Okay. We're not coming to the bars you suggest anymore. No more mice in the bar. So, what did you read this week, Jimmy?
Well, I read a bunch. I got hooked on the Immortal Hulk. That was really good, and it started getting more in depth. I'm like, what are they even talking about by this green door?
I got hooked on a feeling. No, sorry.
And that feeling was the indictable rage of the Hulk.
No, Immortal Hulk, like I've said it, I think in the first week, it's like, that's one of my, favorites that's come out of comics in the last 2 years. It's awesome. It gives you that, kind of creepy feeling and the old time, horror comic feeling, but it still feels new, you know?
Yeah, it does. When is this from?
This is, you're reading the current run.
Oh, I'm man, this is really relevant to today's times.
Yeah, no, this, the issues, okay. How far are you into it?
I'm 5 issues in.
Okay, so you're it's a year ago.
Okay.
Bad. Yeah, you're not that far behind. They're at issue, I think maybe in the high teens now.
I didn't know, are a lot of the characters
sure
similar in other Hulk series? I'm not super big or that familiar with the Hulk.
Right now, it's been a minute since I've read the what you're reading right now, but Thunderbolt Ross is in it, right?
Yeah.
He's a classic Hulk character. That's Liv Tyler's dad in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was played by Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard, that sounds right.
Is that right? No, the dude's cowboy. From really, dude. Seriously, I'm talking about The Big Lebowski, and Jimmy the Shoe is looking at me with glazed eyes, and I have no idea what you're talking about. That's The Big Lebowski, man.
Yeah, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, thank you.
Well, I didn't know you were talking about Big Lebowski, so I'm like, oh, you mean Sam Elliott? I know what you're talking about.
Who did I say? Did I say Sam Elliott? I said Sam something else?
Yeah. Simpson.
Oh, speaking of which, that brings us to I got to talk about our housekeeping here. Last week, we talked about Hush. Hush was created by Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, not Jeff Johns. I made an error when I was speaking. We live in Oregon, folks.
Mistakes happen.
So, thanks for correcting me.
We couldn't do it without you fans critiquing us.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for listening. We certainly appreciate it. What else did you read?
Well, going back to the Hulk, so
we're gonna dissect more.
Okay,
but what did you read?
I read Daredevil.
Okay,
and The Punisher.
Okay,
and Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what did you read?
I read Guardians. I read Daredevil, so we can talk about that one. Mr. and Mrs. X, which is cool. It's Gambit and Rogue. And Major X, which is Rob Liefeld coming back to...
I thought you were going to say Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Actually, it's funny though.
He is literally...
Rob Liefeld's characters all look like Rob Lowe in the 80s.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And so this is his kind of like homecoming for Marvel. So that was a fun book, and we'll talk about that. We'll go back to, we were talking about Hulk. Yes, most of the characters that are recurring in that book right now are common characters in Hulk. The ones that aren't recurring, those are just like the ones they're filling the pages with.
Okay. What about his college friend? The dude that he was like the Bigfoot guy, or who did he turn into? The Sasquatch?
Sasquatch has been around. Like that's an older character. When I first read that book, I looked it up, and I mean, the character's been around before.
Okay.
So, I don't think it's straying from any like major storylines or anything like that, but it's cool. Like I said, my take on it is it's fun to like read a horror book every month, and there aren't many of them. At least not anymore. There were.
Yeah, I was trying to think of more.
Yeah,
horror stories.
There used to be so many of them in comic print, in the 60s and 70s, and then like the 80s came around, and then the 90s came around, and like in the 90s, everyone wanted Rob Liefeld, and so like horror comics were definitely not happening then. If it wasn't like neon blue and hot pink and big hair and big guns and lots of pockets.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in comics. So
lots of pockets have really gone away lately.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
there are not lots of pockets anymore. Like that was the thing in the 90s, man. Lots of pockets. I remember my friend, like I was in high school and in the 90s and had a friend that was a great comic artist. Like he was always making his own creations and everything, but like these characters always had lots and lots of pockets, man. I was like, why you want to draw all those pockets, man? And he's like, I like drawing pockets.
I specialize in pockets.
It's like, all right, man. I guess that's the thing right now. You got to be good at drawing pockets.
I wonder if we change the name from cargo shorts to utility shorts. They become more... Like, look at all the utility. I can fit so much stuff in the pockets, whether...
Yeah, but I just can't see a superhero sporting them. Like, like...
Fanny packs came back, man.
Oh, we had a talk about this with my kids the other day. It's not okay. Like,
No?
I don't care. No, they did. As far as you're concerned, they did not come back. That's what I told my daughter. As far as you're concerned, they did not come back. Fanny packs.
So Sasquatch, we were talking about him. I didn't know if I didn't know him because I didn't live in Canada, and he's Canadian.
Canadian superhero. There's different up there.
Is he really a Canadian superhero
in
Canada?
I don't remember.
Are there any Canadians out there that might be able to answer this question for us?
And yes, we're aware that Wolverine is Canadian. And what Alpha Force or Alpha what Alpha Flight?
Alpha Flight.
Yeah, that's their Canadian superhero team.
I like it.
Yeah, Logan was a member temporarily.
They can't really tell him what to do.
Yeah, well, he's a little too mean for the rest of the Canadian superhero team. They're like, oh, look, it's a villain. Hey, Magneto, could you stop, please? I'm really sorry to bother you, but
you're disturbing the ducks.
Everyone would really like it if you'd stop. But you talked about that you've read what, 5 issues now?
Yes.
So I mean, are you loving it?
I'm loving it so far, and I was starting to get deeper and deeper into it. I'm like, no, I got to save some for later.
Right.
Let me get to something else.
It's hard to talk about them when you talk about when you read a bunch of issues, and then you're like, okay, well, I didn't really write anything down, so I wrote stuff down this week.
I liked how he slowly got more and more into it.
Yeah.
As the whole being like, I don't know what they're talking about, this green light. And then you started finding out more information and going more in depth of like, what is actually out there.
Yeah. No, I think that they've done something, cause the Hulk had horror stories a long time ago, but it's been like far removed from anything that could be considered like a suspense story or something like that for a long, long time. And I don't know, it was just really refreshing. I was excited just to see Hulk like in a regular book again, like a Bruce Banner Hulk.
Yeah.
And then they came out with, they're like, hey, it's going to be like a horror story. I was like, I got to read that.
It's pretty good. I'm actually surprised because I always feel sorry for Bruce Banner because
Right.
imagine he hulks out and loses everything.
Oh,
All his
yeah.
clothes are ruined, like unless he's like,
For
I
sure.
got to get naked real quick.
Why doesn't he wear spandex? Like everyone else
Like,
wears
where's his
spandex.
supersuit? Hey, you're part of the Avengers. I bet Tony Stark has a
Right?
pair of stretchy underwear.
Right. No doubt.
But like he has no money. He's wandering around and whatever he can pick up because he loses his wallet every single time he hulks out.
I know, right?
I'm surprised he doesn't do more digital currency like Bitcoin. And then he could have a Hulk website, anonymous. Nobody can trace him. People can donate money to the Hulk and his cause.
Do you think that he has to because I mean you think of like Bill Bixby, not Bill Bixby, the Bruce Banner version of Bill Bixby. Oh, it is Bill Bixby. Lou Ferrigno's the big guy. In the Bill Bixby TV show and in certain parts of the Avengers movies and stuff, you see Bruce Banner as kind of like this kind of broken dude that's like living off the grid and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't think about that very much. Does he have to like turn to crime? Like maybe like he becomes like the Hulk enforcer in certain towns. Like he hits LA to make some cash and works for the mob for, a little while.
He could be pretty threatening. Hey, you should buy our insurance. Why? I don't know. Hulky might smash through your wall. Like you never know when Hulk's going to smash through anything.
So it's security money. That's what it is. All right. So we both read Daredevil. You want to talk about that?
That was really good.
I really liked Daredevil. I read issue 2 and 3 this week. And so one of the things that I thought about when I read this was Chip Zdarsky is writing this. And Chip Zdarsky, really the only thing I know him for is he wrote an incredible run of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, like right around the same time as, some of the stuff that we're reading on here, like about a year ago. And it was really, really good. And the reason it was so good was it was so damn funny. Like reading it, I was like laugh out loud funny to me all the time. And you can read this on Marvel Unlimited. It's on there too. Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Really great. But this book is not funny. Like there is no funny in this book. And I loved it. Like,
it's so dark.
It is. And I haven't read Daredevil for a long time. So like I'm kind of jumping in as a new reader basically again. And I love that I know the characters. Like when I was reading Daredevil 25 years ago, like they're the same characters. Like I'm reading about Foggy. I'm reading about Matt Murdock. I'm reading about, the city of Hell, the Hell's Kitchen borough in New York as like its own entity. And then Kingpin is the mayor and stuff. But like it's not funny. Like there's no comic relief in this. Like this book was like I felt like it was really like adrenaline and a bunch of like almost all the way through it.
It was like anytime he's Daredevil, it's the adrenaline, what's going to happen, and when he's Matt Murdock, and it's so much like sorrow and angst in him for like what he's doing, and he's
right. And so for those of you listening, what's happening in Daredevil right now? So like a bad guy's been killed, and they blamed it on Daredevil. We don't know who they are yet. We have been, Matt does not think it's Kingpin. But there in Hell's Kitchen, we also have this new like transplant cop from Chicago. So like he's a tough cop. Like he deals with mean street Chicago people all the time. And now he's like in New York, and he's like, New York's got nothing on Chicago. Like, and I'm like, what hemisphere do you live in, dude? But he's like got it in for Daredevil. Like that's his job, is like task forced to get the Daredevil.
Yeah. But like, I got that too. I'm like, where is he from? And then I'm like, wait, where is Daredevil? I'm like, he's in New York. I'm like, I think Hell's Kitchen's more dangerous than.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Chicago is right now like the most like statistically speaking, the most dangerous city in the United States. Like that's saying nothing to do with the fact that like just drinking the water will get you killed in Flint. Right. Like.
And I like how they added that in though. The cop coming in, so it's mixing it up a bit. Somebody's kind of learning about Daredevil and everything. I like that Daredevil doesn't really, because like reading through this, I'm like, Daredevil doesn't really kill anybody.
Right.
He's not that type of fighter compared to the Punisher, who is pretty much anyone he sees that doesn't agree with him is.
Yeah, and I mean that's what the whole book is right now, is kind of like the mystery, like who's trying to frame
Yeah.
him. And you know, it's fun. Like Daredevil mysteries are always good. I remember reading a lot of Ed Brubaker Daredevil back in the day, and like his stories always had an element of mystery that were really good. But I mean, this book particularly, I'm looking at my notes here. The thing that I remember the most was when I put down issue number 3, and I'm guessing you probably did the same thing. Like, I was mad that there was not another issue on here.
Yeah, I was reading it on my computer and read through and saw the ending and just like, where's the next comic button? Because I got getting spoiled on the other series that where there's a ton of episodes or issues to read through.
Yeah, no, and it's and this one we're live with. So the next issue will come out next month, and we'll read that then, and we'll talk about it on here. But my goodness, like the ending of that, like spoilers. So the new cop shoots Daredevil, like shoots him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Messes up his arm, so he can't climb. He's got to stay street level. Which I felt like I feel like Matt's been hurt worse than a bullet in the shoulder.
Right, he just recovered from being like majorly injured.
Right, like and he's got the billy club and like with a giant.
Is that a billy club or a baton?
So it's a. Well, I think he calls it a billy club, but it's a baton that breaks open, and it has like 12 feet of cable in between, and he uses it to swing from, and he garrotes people with it and stuff, and I just felt like he probably might have just done a little like Indiana Jones, and
whipped out of there. Or hear me out on this.
Okay.
There's plenty of sewers in New York City. He could have gone into the sewers.
That's true. And who would think to look down?
And that time of year would be warm and
right. And you got a baton to open it with.
Yeah.
You know, like you're good. Yeah. No, I think that's.
And he doesn't have to worry about like seeing all the shit and everything because he's blind.
Well, I mean,
it'd just be a walk in the park.
Well, and he can see and no one else can. That's and that's useful in a dark, dank sewer, I would imagine. I don't know. Are they lit? Are sewers lit underground?
It depends which city you're in. And sometimes you can bring your own light. Sometimes it's too dangerous to light a light, and you just feel your way around. Usually with your toes, it's a little easier than your hand. You want to avoid touching liquid to your face in the sewer. I mean, that's at least what I hear.
Yeah, that's a good safety tip out there for you folks.
PSA.
Yeah, don't touch the brown water. So
in the comic,
he
shoots Daredevil and Daredevil doesn't get away, and of course, being a good cop,
right? And so this new cop, literally, like, well, I do like the scene. So the cop now, like, standing over his prize or whatever, you know, he's taken down the Daredevil. He calls in, you know, reinforcements. He's got his foot on his back, and then he like pulls him up, like he acts like he's going to go to pull off his mask, and like. One of the blue uniforms like walks up and he's like, dude, you can't do that. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like we've got him. You know, we're gonna unmask him. And he's like he's one of us. You don't perp walk one of us,
right?
And like the whole police force was like, no, you're not gonna unmask him in public. And
that's so good.
I mean, it was kind of
cool.
This
guy doesn't know because he's not from there. Like, he's heard the news stories.
Right, but he's like, you jerks. Like, what the heck's wrong with you? Like, you're not real cops.
Right.
But like, he just doesn't get it. And then, so, bullets
come shooting out of
flying everywhere. And I mean, I don't know about you, but immediately I see bullets flying from everywhere. I'm like, oh, Frank's there.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially after just reading Punisher.
No doubt.
I'm just reading it and just all these guns are shooting. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no, when you see like 50 cals just swinging, shooting by themselves, you're like, okay, Frank Castle has set up somewhere.
Right.
Like no superheroes like, hey, let's use giant 50 cal guns and smoke grenades. Like, no.
Unless they're glowing green, it's going to be Frank Castle.
Yeah. So again, spoiler, Frank swings in, like, saves Daredevil.
Yeah.
And is basically like, well, it's about time you saw the light, and patches him up. Like, cause he's like, okay, you killed people now you're one of me.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, can you imagine, like, okay, you're Matt Murdock. You've got, just had a bullet pulled out of your shoulder without anesthetic by Frank Castle, who's now sewn you up and been like, all right, so you're on my team now. And you have to explain to him, like, sir, I didn't kill anyone.
I didn't kill anyone yet.
Please don't hurt me now.
Right, exactly. Like, how long is he going to go along with it?
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, I totally killed that guy.
He's like, no, I'm Matt Murdock. I don't kill people.
Yeah.
So, but of course, now you're going to have Daredevil and Punisher teamed up to find out who.
Oh man, who it actually is
framing Daredevil. And
I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on who you think it is?
I have no idea. Like, because he says that it's not Kingpin because he listens.
And I don't
to
think
Kingpin.
it's Kingpin.
And well, I mean, Matt Murdock knows better than we do.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
It's not like we're superheroes or anything.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daredevil was awesome. It was definitely one of my favorite reads this week.
Yeah, I'm really excited. When does the next one come out?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sometime in the next 3 weeks.
Well, I will read it when it comes out.
Yeah, because they do update it weekly. The new books come out on Sundays. And I do not have enough time to like find out what's coming out next week. I should. I did that once.
Yeah.
Like 4 weeks ago I looked. And
no worries.
and
it'll be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
It was like really far.
Yeah, it's a pain. It's waiting. Might as well just be like, okay, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. So
speaking of next, The Punisher.
Oh yeah, you're still reading the Garth Ennis Punisher.
Garth Ennis Punisher.
So I am not reading this. I read the first couple issues, but like you're totally gonna have to tell me what happened. So this is this whole series is him fighting the Nucci family.
Yeah, the Nucci family. And he lives in the apartment complex and is starting to learn all the
Mr.
people.
Bumpo
Mr.
and
Bumpo,
Spacker Dave, and the blonde girl.
Yeah. Blonde or brunette, quiet chick.
Oh, is she brunette?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Brownish hair, I guess.
I
don't know. It's a comic book.
Right. Whatever.
I don't know her personality.
Well, I mean, I read that series, so like I remember the characters. They become recurring characters.
So yeah, slowly it starts out as the Punisher's like, I got to take out this crime lord, but I got to work the way up.
Right.
And starts. And it was really interesting to read this alongside the Daredevil because there's a crossover in that series as well. The Punisher.
Oh yeah.
And it just like how violent Frank Castle is like, all right, guns.
Yeah, like that's always his go-to.
Probably my favorite part is he's slowly taking out more and more of the family, and they're chasing him. And he runs into the zoo. I
remember the zoo issue.
Man.
Yeah,
I felt like to be the zookeeper in the morning when you show up and see that mess, and the cops. You get a call from the cops. Your manager's like, "Can you go to the zoo?"
It's a massacre.
But it's like a massacre. Like you run through the jungle exhibit, and one guy gets thrown in the piranha tank.
Yeah,
and just gets devoured by piranhas.
I feel like some of these scenes too, they even like directly redid in some of the movies.
Yeah.
Like particularly the Thomas Jane Punisher, with that had what's his name is the bad guy.
Who's that?
The Saturday Night Fever.
John
Travolta. Yeah. John Travolta. For those of you listening, I'm now doing my best disco dance for Jimmy here. But yeah, so that movie, I feel like I think maybe the piranha scene and a couple of other things that were like right out of the Garth Ennis run. They were like, let's use that and run with it, which I gave him props for. Nobody else liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And you did you see that one?
Was that Warzone?
No, it's the one before that. It was just Punisher. It had Thomas Jane.
Yes, it was so long ago I don't remember. But I remember watching it, but it was a long time.
But yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah.
Nobody else did. I didn't think John Travolta ruined it. I thought he was all right. But yeah, so Punisher.
So anyway, he's going through and taking out more and more of the family, and then go back to his house, and he keeps getting shot up more and more. I wonder how many. Like, I want to see him without his suit at one point in the comic. To see, like, how many bullet holes he actually has on him.
You want to see Frank Castle's, like, naked, like, mirror selfie. It's got just riddled with bullet holes.
Yes, actually. I'll set that as my screensaver.
That sounds like a Francis Lennell Yu cover. That's something he would do. Yeah.
Yeah, he's slowly taking out more and more of these guys, and they're following him. And, of course, the Nucci family mom's like,
Yeah, Ma Nucci. She's the
Ma
she's the
Nucci.
baddie of all of them.
So she's like the mom of all these kids because she'll like yell at the kids and be like, "You're stupid.
Yeah.
Get out here." But like she puts like a $10 million hit on him on the Punisher, and so slowly, like everywhere he goes, he's starting to get seen.
Yeah.
Except for his apartment complex, everyone knows him. He's always super nice. That
Right.
quiet lady's always making him cookies, and he's eating them because
he doesn't want her to go hang herself.
this boy needs some carbs too.
Right. Well, I mean, he gets a workout.
I never see him eat or anything.
Huh. I just see him drink whiskey, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fueled by whiskey and rage.
Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen the Punisher eat. Huh.
I don't know. Well,
the things we muse about.
But yeah, so he's building this whole family connection back at this apartment place, and then he goes out and kills a bunch of dudes and just comes home. Is he a sociopath? Is he just doing it out of rage? Is that okay? Where does it draw the line to be like, yeah, I just murdered?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess
he punishes.
Punishes.
Like
He doesn't murder. He doesn't go out and kill people.
Yeah, like he punishes.
They're coming right for us. Kaboom. South Park reference.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got you. It's coming right for us.
So anyway, he goes to the zoo, and the whole family rushes inside and tries to kill him. He uses various animals to kill him.
Yeah.
He gets one guy attacked by a big snake.
I feel like does he cut something's head off? Like and like maybe I'm thinking it could have been another Garth Ennis book.
Yeah.
But like I feel like he decapitated an animal and like pretended to be the animal or something like that at some point.
Not in this comic. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That might be coming.
All that made me think of is Ace Ventura trying to be like the rhino and coming out of the rhino as the baby. Well, in the end, they see him trying to hop this wall, and then Maguchi's like, shoot him! And they shoot him, and he gets shot, of course, and falls in the pit. And I'm like, oh man, what pit is this? And he's like, I gotta get up, and gets up and starts running, and just sees like 3 polar bears. And they're like, what? And
I
he
do
just
remember that.
punches one in the face, and then turns around and runs back. By that time, Maguchi and her henchmen are down at the bottom.
Right.
And he just like leaps up the wall and climbs up the wall.
So you know what's funny about this is I read those books like 20 years ago, and I don't know that I've read them since. But the thing I remember little bits, like as you're telling me, I'm like, oh, I remember, I totally remember reading that. But the thing that sticks out in my mind about what I was reading is the colors of the pages, like in the zoo scenes and things like that. I remember like a lot of like kind of like hazy neon colors and that kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's so weird how certain things can stick with you years later. Like, I just remember the colors of those pages. The color. So whoever did the coloring, kudos to you.
Yeah, I really liked the artwork in it.
Yeah, and that was Steve Dillon, I think, doing the artwork, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just whoever was coloring it was doing a great job.
Well, and then anyway, so. I think that's that. What?
I said, oh, there's more.
There's more.
Okay.
So after that, like, he leaps out and the bears are, like, charging after him. Maguchi's like, what? And, I think that's where that comic ends. And it starts over. And the cops show up, the 2 loner cops, the one, Soap, and then that chick.
Soap, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, he's the cop that is bottom of the forge. You get the worst case possible. Take this cold case with all these files. And then the chick that shows up is like, oh, we don't want you in charge, so you do this dumb job. And they're both like, we're going to work hard and overcome all these obstacles. So they're basically scoping Punisher out.
I gotcha.
And they decide to wait where Maguchi is, because like, he's going to come for her.
No.
Like, we know it.
Right.
But, like, I don't understand why he didn't come for her at the beginning. But I was kind of quiet for a second. So they keep waiting, and I don't understand why the Punisher didn't just come for her in the beginning. Like, he always gets in these huge firefights everywhere. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he could take out every one of these guys at her house.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think he's kind of sadistic, and he has, especially when he's the Garth Ennis Punisher. Like, I feel like he likes to toy with his prey.
I think so. Oh, and that reminded me. The other crossover of Daredevil, because like Daredevil keeps going to confession,
right?
And
they work out of the same neighborhood, so of course they cross.
But in the Punisher, there's all the side stories of these other vigilante dudes. Like, there's that priest guy who, like, listens to, like, drug dealers' confessions, and they come out and he's just, like, axe.
Yeah.
And axes him and kills him, and then that old lady shows up to clean, and she's blind and can't hear, and just, like, mops up the wine stains. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah. And she walks in, and like he's like right after he like moved the body or something, right?
Just blood everywhere, and she's like mop, mop, mop.
Yeah, for sure. Man, that's Garth Ennis though. Like that's him at his best. For those of you listening, if you're interested, if you read along with Jimmy some of these old Garth Ennis Punisher books, we talked about last week. They're going to do Punisher Soviet, which is going to be Garth Ennis writing that. And of course, you can't find him on Marvel Unlimited or DC Universe, but if you go back and find in your local comic shop, at least collect the trades or something of Just a Pilgrim. That's the title of the book. It's called Just a Pilgrim. And it's another Garth Ennis, might be Steve Dillon as well, collab for a different company. I don't remember which one.
I don't know.
But that was like one of the most rottenest books I've ever read, like as far as human beings doing horrible things to human beings. So
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's super fun.
So, there's a side plot with it, and I thought it was super funny that like because Daredevil goes to confession, they've already ran into each other. I'm like,
right.
Man, if Daredevil goes and confesses to this priest dude,
is it the same one?
Same way.
I wonder if it's the same character. Is it like because there's a priest in both, right?
Yeah.
Oh no! The one in Punisher is like a psychopath.
In Punisher, I don't think he's in Hell's Kitchen right now. I don't know where Maguchi is.
I mean, they're in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know what borough they're in, what neighborhood they're in. But I mean, just saying, it could be the same.
Could be the
church.
same place, going there, the same places. But then all these other vigilantes start showing up, like Payback. He's my favorite.
I don't remember Payback.
Payback, it's in this corporate boardroom, and this guy comes in and like shirt with ripped off sleeves and like overalls or blue jeans, and just has like a red bandana covering his face, and you can see his eyes, and he's like, "You guys are corporate slime. Like, you took all of our jobs. You bought cheap airplane parts, and this causes airplane crash." He's like, "You're all gonna die," and just oozes everyone in the room.
I do remember that character.
And then he kills another guy, and like in several guys, he goes through it more and more. Like one of the CEOs is like, "This guy was telling the truth." The CEO is like, "He's telling the truth. We can't let people find out. Like, this guy knows like our secrets." They're flying away in the corporate helicopter and like, "Hey, is that him over there? What's he doing over there? What's that in his hand?" It's just a rocket launcher. It blows up the helicopter.
That's so awesome. I love Garth Ennis. I think that anytime he can just blow stuff up and kill off characters left and right, I'm pretty sure he's the happiest when he can do that.
It's really good.
So yeah, read The Punisher if you're not already. That was the year 2000. Is that right?
2015.
2015.
No, is that no?
Nah, it's got to be 2000. Like maybe 2005. No, it's 2000. I'm pretty sure. Anyway,
I don't know.
Garth Ennis writes the Marvel Knights Punisher. It's right before his Max run. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Definitely read that.
What did you read?
What did I read? I read Guardians.
So I haven't had a chance to read Guardians.
Okay.
I've seen the movies.
Okay, so
sell me on the comic.
Okay, so kind of a new start again for the team. Gamora is gone. Thanos is dead. Gamora killed him, but his head's missing. Like, they got his body, but his head's missing. Like, someone has his head and is trying to... I've got a lady's voice over here that's like right in my ear. So anyways, someone is trying to transfer his consciousness to a new body.
Okay.
And so Quill thinks that it's likely Gamora that they're trying to find.
Yeah.
They think that apparently multiple people think that Gamora is the most likely recipient of Thanos' will.
It makes sense.
I mean, I would have thought that they just...
He's her dad.
Not really. Like,
Stepdad.
he just like picked her up off a planet, you know? Like maybe just cause she knows him better than anyone else. Maybe that's part of the magic. I don't know.
Well, it'd be, love the most.
That makes sense. Maybe it's...
That's how he got the Heartstone or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it the Heartstone?
I don't know.
Lovestone. I don't.
Whoa! I think those are Care Bear things, dude.
Oh.
not Infinity Stones.
No.
I don't know.
I just realized, could the Infinity Gauntlet stop the Care Bear stare?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Like the Care Bear stare is like pure goodness. Anyway, so there are new Guardians now. So there's Quill and Groot. Groot is now full grown again. But he's got he's coming out of the other side of his rebellious phase.
Okay.
So he's still got the wooden mohawk.
Yeah, so he's like a young adult.
Yeah, but he's not as much of a jerk as he was 6 issues ago when he was still a teenager. And there's new members, and the new members are all we're gonna go find Gamora.
Yeah.
Because she's in danger and she's family. And he's and Quill's she ain't family, she killed me. And because apparently she killed him.
Yeah.
But now he's back to life. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know that either. But he's back to life, and he's mad at her, but knows where she is. And they're we're going after her. And he's no, you're not. And they're yes, we are. And he's well, I'm not going to tell you where she is. And Groot's I already told him, so we're going. And he's well, you're not taking my ship. And they're yes, we are. And he's fine, I guess I'll come along. So
that's awesome.
So they're off to rescue Gamora, who at the very end of the book we find out her whole mission, the reason that she's missing and she's is because she took off to find Rocket.
Okay.
And I don't know where Rocket is. So
wow, I'm interested now.
Yeah,
sounds really good.
Yeah, it's a fun book. It's one of those books that reads real fast.
Okay.
Because I think part of it's because you're familiar with the characters from having seen them on screen. And so you picture everything, you have the voice, you have everything down. It never requires a reread. You're just that's exactly the line that character would say. So I think for that purpose, I feel the writing is good in that they're keeping it kind of in line with what you expect, while adding new stuff for new readers to kind of explore the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, which has of course been around since the 60s and 70s, but most of us didn't read it, or if we're too young to have read it. So it's good stuff. There's 3 issues on Marvel Unlimited right now, and I think there should be another one very soon.
Okay.
And it's a good book. It's super fun. I mean, if you just read Daredevil and Punisher, and you just want to laugh a little bit, that's a good one.
Okay, good. I like to mix it up now and then.
Yeah, it definitely will lighten the reading load. What else do you read?
Doctor Strange.
Okay, so this is the one you got to tell me about, because that's the book I've always wanted to read. And
have you not read it?
No, I've never read it.
What?
I was going to read it with you, but I didn't have time. As I said, before, the Chris Bocciolo is my favorite artist. And I've loved him when he did Steampunk. I loved him when he was my favorite, Captain America artist of all time. Just thought that the costume looked incredible.
The art in it is fantastic.
It's so cool. I feel it's his own style. No one else draws like Bocciolo. I also didn't realize he'd been doing this stuff for 40 years. I found him in the late 90s, and maybe the early 2000s. And from what I understand, he's been around even longer than that, much longer than that. So, but he's incredible. What are you thinking of Doctor Strange so far? Tell me a little bit about the story.
So far, just an introduction of what I know. I've seen the movie, of course. Marvel movies with him in it. I also saw the animated movie.
Okay, so I've not watched that one, but I have watched the Marvel cinema.
Okay. So that's what I know of him, besides trying to look it up and learning more about him. It basically starts out, because I don't know, what's normal for him to be in strange parallel universes and
right
doing something, and he comes back to Earth in his sanctum, and he comes out, and essentially he starts helping this lady that needed help, and finds this weird thing on her head, like a demon face with mouth and eyes.
Okay.
And he's like, well, it was pretty. He gets her to come inside and uses his strangeness to invite her in.
So this first issue is not. There's no origin in this.
There's no origin in this.
Okay.
It just opens up.
He's Doctor Strange.
He's Doctor Strange.
Okay, got
Everybody knows it. Wong's there. He has his sanctum.
Okay.
And everything. So he starts investigating this thing that's happening and doesn't know what's going on. He's like, why are all these people from other dimensions like trying to break through to ours?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd totally be far away. There's like, why would they even come here?
Okay.
And he has a lot of other magic friends. They sit around in a magic bar. There's only a door they can get into, which sounds really interesting. I want to go to a place like that.
I was going to say, it kind of sounds like the joints you bring me to.
Yeah. Those are always my favorite, the leaky cauldron types that not everyone can get into.
The leaky cauldron types?
Well, Doctor Strange uses magic.
Okay.
I would assume if he ever went to London, he may visit Leaky Cauldron.
Okay, I get you.
It's only reasonable.
That makes sense. Okay.
So he starts trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so this is a mystery.
It reminds me
a
lot of Constantine. When all the demons are trying to escape, he's like, why are these even trying to break into our world? It's dangerous for them.
I got you.
And then so it goes into another dimension, whatever dimension's happening.
Mm.
This other Sorcerer Supreme is trying to contact everyone, and he uses magic and locks the doors. He's like, I'm in trouble. He starts doing an emergency spell.
Okay.
While the doors are being busted in. He has magic locks, and the locks just shatter and disappear.
Oh, so
he's like, my magic's not working. He's like, last thing, and he activates his necklace. And these butterflies fly away, and he records a message in them to all the Sorcerer Supremes out there.
Okay, so there's multiple Sorcerer Supremes.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
And these robots bust in the room and kill the guy.
Oh.
And then his head guy comes out, who's like, destroy those, and destroys all the butterflies. So nobody.
Why didn't they fly away?
The butterflies were flying away in the distance, and they're just like, beep, 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 and shot them all out.
Wow, they're good
but
shots.
When you fly out of a window, if you're ever flying away from something, don't fly in a straight line out the window. Take curves, go around the building, so they can't shoot you out the window.
Well, yeah, naturally.
They are butterflies. Maybe he didn't really expect it. It was a simple spell.
Maybe he should have been like, I'm going to turn you into something that flies faster.
He programmed that spell in QBasic instead of C++. So.
Oh my goodness, that's something I haven't thought about in a long, long time. Oh my goodness.
That just aged us right there.
Go to line 8.
Go to Sorcerer Supreme times 18.
Oh my goodness, we are old. I saw a Facebook post yesterday that showed the Atari VCS. And it said, if you remember playing this, it's time for your colonoscopy.
That's funny.
Or your colonoscopy. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is targeted to me.
Our generation, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, these guys destroy everything, and there'll be subtle clips of these guys destroying anything magical. Because that's their anti-magic. They're technocrats, if into mage type stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Or it's technology versus magic.
Sounds like Shadowrun.
Shadowrun, yeah, exactly. So anyway, Doctor Strange, all this other stuff starts happening. He sees these energy leeches and psychic leeches that are just eating people and sucking up magical energy around.
I can only imagine what this looks like with Botula's artwork.
It is so cool. The lady that had the demons in her head, he's like, let me get them out for you. He's like, I haven't seen this before. And she's like, well, my friend, I imagine he gets a lot of referrals. And she's like, well, I had a friend of a friend who said their uncle turned into a part dog and you helped him. He's like, yeah, that guy didn't live. But your issue is different. And he tries to cast it, and then all these demons fly out of her head.
So Doctor Strange does house calls
This was at his house. She showed up.
Yeah, but I mean,
but apparently,
okay, that's so much more Constantine now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
Master of the Dark Arts. Sorry, I'm going to change that to Dabbler.
So he helps, but then all these things are running around his house. And it's funny, he's like, well, we got to track him down, so come with me. She's like, whoa, is that dangerous? She's like, it's more dangerous for you to be alone in my house.
Right.
He's like, everything's magical.
Dude, the Sanctum is my favorite headquarters in Marvel Comics.
It is.
They got Avengers Tower, they got the X Mansion, but the Sanctum is it's the only one that has its own personality, you know?
That was the best part. And he's like, here, take this, and gives her a sword. He's like, it'll help you.
That's
and he's
awesome.
like, so anything is magical in this house. He's like, don't look at anything, don't touch anything aside from the floor, and watch where you step. And then she's like, are those snakes on your table? As they walk by, he's like, yeah, don't talk to them. And then one of them's like, hey, baby, come over here.
That sounds. Do you know who wrote it? Who
Yeah.
the writer was? Okay, I have to look that up because that sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to read it.
It was really good. And they go through and then goes a lot of history of Doctor Strange of like what he eats. He's like, don't open the fridge. He's like, whatever you do, don't open my fridge.
What does he eat? Do you know?
Yes, I can't say.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I can't say because I don't know quite what it is. So anyway, there's a scene where like the fridge breaks open and she like screams because the lady sees inside the fridge because these little demon dudes opened it when they're trying to catch them all.
Oh, okay.
And then Wong just reaches in with his giant spoon and pulls out this weird slug creature with like legs and tentacles.
Okay.
And throws it in a frying pan and fries it up with all these other like entrails and everything.
See, when you said you couldn't say, I thought to myself like, are you like sworn to secrecy?
Sworn to secrecy.
He's like, yeah, I know, but I'd have to kill you. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I can't. You got to be there to know it.
Yeah.
But apparently Doctor Strange has to eat these weird things as a meal. She's like, it's disgusting. And he's like, I have to eat it because dealing with magic so long, magic knocks back and he has to like absorb certain things in his body. Like any other food makes him like
So has he like magic slugs to become stay magic?
He's like, it tastes like leprosy as he's eating it.
Oh.
He's like, and just pounding it down.
It just looks like Starbuck going, like, this is the worst chili I've ever had.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm on my third bowl. So Doctor Strange then is a good read then.
Good read so far. I'd highly recommend this.
Is it like a larger story arc, or is it
so
like
far
kind
it
of
seems
standalone?
larger. I don't
Okay.
know what's quite going to happen yet.
Okay, so it's a slow burn.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. I'm in 4 issues in right now.
Okay. Huh. Yeah,
He's only barely starting to figure out what's going on and getting more information of what's happening in the background. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up and read it. It's been on my list for like, I don't know how long. How long has it been? 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
So it'll get read eventually. That stack doesn't get shorter.
Right.
It just keeps getting more and more on it. So one of the books that I read this week, I read Mr. and Mrs. X. Mostly just because I figured probably no one else did. And it's really, I enjoyed it. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, Mr. and Mrs. X is, it's a team up book with, Remy LeBeau and Anna Marie. So, it's, Gambit and Rogue, who, as I was telling Jimmy the Shoe earlier, so if you have not been keeping up with the X-Men stories and whatnot lately, Peter Rasputin and Kitty Pryde were about to get married. So that's Colossus and Kitty. We're going to get married. They've had an on again, off again relationship for like 35 years. And
is that because she phases in and out?
That's good. And then, so something, I don't know what happened. Something fell through though. They didn't have the wedding. And so apparently, Remy and Anna were like, hey, we've got a wedding and we don't even have to pay for it. So they just tied the knot and they got married. And, they have also had an on again, off again relationship since like 1981. So, it's kind of a cool, I like seeing that stuff. I'm like, cool. I like the legacy to change and to grow and that kind of thing. The weird part to me though is they make so much effort to talk in the book about their mutant powers and how like she can hurt him with her power and that kind of thing. But I remember reading the book in like the early 2000s, reading, I think it was just an X-Men title.
Yeah.
And Gambit figured out how to use his telekinetic energy to cover his entire body. And it was like a little like electric force field that she couldn't like.
Well, I was wondering how their marriage worked.
Well,
Can she touch anything nowadays or no?
Apparently not. She puts on gloves and has to put on a mutant power inhibitor collar when they do it and stuff.
Okay.
And that's
I've seen those before.
right. So, but that my problem though was like, I remember like they beat this storyline 25 years ago. So why do we have to do this? So, so if you're listening and you know more about Marvel Comics than me, which probably isn't hard, please write to us at sealastissue@gmail.com and tell me what's the deal. Why can't, Gambit just use his little telekinetic force field thing so that they can make Whoopi and not, have his brains fall out of his head.
I wonder.
Yeah, cause
that makes me think to be. I wonder how thin he could make it. Would it feel like real skin?
like real skin.
Can he change it so it's ribbed for her pleasure?
I remember back in the day, like, cause it was him, he was talking to Kurt Wagner.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, so, like, we did it type of deal. And he's like, oh, well, how'd you do that? And he's like, check this out. And he's just, he turns pink, and like, and Kurt touches him and he's like, oh, it's kind of like a little bit of an electro shock, but like not bad. And like, I'm like, okay, some people are into that. But now like they must have forgot that happened. They've died enough times and come back to life that they don't remember that skill anymore.
Maybe this is where the comics will actually go and they'll bring it back. Right,
they're gonna just retcon it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of weird to me. But the book overall is super fun. Really, like they have the wedding. They don't make a big deal of the wedding. Like it jumps from right before to right after the wedding. So I was thankful for that. I've seen enough comic book weddings, and I'm a wedding DJ on the weekends. I don't want to see another wedding. But it's cool to see that they jumped right from that into like the next fun part of the story, which of course is Remy trying to be romantic, having Rogue in space, I think on the moon for their honeymoon, and Kitty Pryde calls them and is
is there a moon base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
is it like an X-Men base, or did they get rid of it?
It's an X-Men base.
Okay.
So that's long running continuity. They've got a base on the moon, and so they're having. I assume they're at the X-Men base, but I don't know. Like it seems kind of glamorous. I don't know. And Kitty calls them, and she's like, "There's like a signal, like a distress signal. You need to go deal with this." And after some funny banter back and forth, they have to go check this stuff out. And then what they find out is that the place that they're going to find this package, whatever it is, some crystal thing, is actually being held by Lilandra, who is the Empress of the Shi'ar, and she's being held captive by the Imperial Legion, which I again think is also Shi'ar. So like there's
like a coup or something.
Yeah, there's some political crap going down. And now the X-Men are in the middle of it, and the Imperial Guard's like we don't want to hurt you, just leave. Like she's ours. And they're like, no, we just want that package. Like that's ours. And they fight. And
so how do the X-Men? Do they have like faster than light travel? Or how do they get around? Is it a mutant
I think
power,
it's just the Quinjet. So like
we'll be there in 500 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
how fast does it get?
I don't know, but it has. I think they built it with Shi'ar technology. Okay. So like I'm sure they have faster than light.
Okay.
Because I mean they go into space pretty commonly. Like for like a dude that's got like a skeleton wrapped in metal and like doesn't like getting off the ground. He's been to space quite a few times.
Right.
So,
okay.
I think they must have that. Write to us. And so the real funny part of the book is at the end. Like it's kind of a funny book, but it's definitely riddled with like first issue woes in that it's not much happens. It's 24 pages, and like you could cut it to 5 and it would be a fun little story. But in the end, when they're fighting these dudes, Rogue has the crystal thing that everyone's trying to get their hands on, and she gets someone's phasing mutant power accidentally by touching them, and she phases through the wall, and now she's in space, unprotected, no mask, no hood, nothing like that, about to die, and Gambit calls a stop to the fight and like, we need to go get her. and then she bamfs and teleports out of the scene. And the next thing you see is a giant splash page of Deadpool sitting over her in his bed being like, hitting on her. So
that is awesome.
She at the end, Rogue teleports into Deadpool's bed. So that alone to me made it worth reading.
I want to see her touch. What's gonna happen?
Oh my goodness. Does she get all of them? All of his mutant powers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What does he get?
Interesting. I'll bet that's already been done. We gotta look that stuff up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the ones that I read that you didn't. What did you read? What else did you read?
That's all I read.
That's all you read. Okay. I also read Major X. Major X is the big Rob Liefeld book that I was telling you about. So it's fun. It's definitely Rob Liefeld. It's his art. It's his writing. I'm so familiar with 90s comics. And it feels like a portal back in time. It is better though.
What's it about?
So they're introducing a new character, Major X. So this is a brand new character by Rob Liefeld. And in this, you don't really know who he is, what the deal is, but like there's him and kind of like an alternate reality, Hank McCoy, beast.
Okay.
He's like a gray beast. It's a little pudgier and a little meaner. And they have jumped to like what do they call it in the X-Men? Sliding, I think.
Yeah.
Like time sliding or something. Like what Cable did to come save the mutant kind when he came back to our time and that kind of thing. They do that. So their world is like about to end. They're like the last ones left fighting a resistance of like mutant killers and stuff. And they bamf to the X Mansion modern time.
Okay.
Which is currently occupied apparently by Cable and the New Mutants and the kids, X-Force. And they show up there and of course they fight immediately because what else do superheroes do when they run into each other? They fight each other. One of them's like, hey, you need to leave me alone. I need to find so-and-so.
Right.
And one's like, you need to fight me. And like, and by the end, they'll all be friends, but they have to do their initial fight to show off to each other. I put in my notes, they have the predictable fight with Cable.
Oh, yeah.
And I put in here, they jump to modern day into the X Mansion as the reality goes kaput and their savior is lost. So like the beginning of it's kind of hard to follow until you kind of figure out what's going on. So what they're talking about is they talk about lots of X words. And I don't remember what they are. We'll just say that they come from the world of Express and they have a savior, which, like executioner, but it's not, because that's a different dude. But like they have an ex-savior and their savior's dead. Their world's about to blow up and they
Are they the future? Or
I guess parallel future. I'm not sure. Anyway, they have that predictable fight with Cable, and Wolverine and others until, get this, Dreadpool shows up. Not Deadpool, Dreadpool.
Judge Dreadpool?
It looks like Judge Dredd with Deadpool. And that's the funny thing is because, so first off, they spell it Deread, pool. And Judge Dredd is not in Marvel Comics to my knowledge. So, because that's 2000 AD. That's a whole nother, this UK imprint. It's different copyright. But it totally looks like Judge Dredd. It's like Dreadpool. And all of them fight this Dreadpool character. Yeah. And like, he beats the crap out of everyone. And then, Deadpool drops in and is like, well, of course you guys can't beat this guy. And like, Deadpool kicks the crap out of him. And then the guy's like, I'll get you again, you stupid kids, and and that kind of thing, and runs off. So they chase off the bad guy, Dreadpool, and Deadpool's like, all right, well, peace out. And the X-Man, Major X, pulls his helmet off and is like, so basically we need your help. Because our future's all messed up and and you're the only ones that can help us, which just negated the whole fight they just had. Like, why did you fight them? And then the big reveal is when he takes off his helmet and Cable looks at him and it's like, Alex. And it's Alexander Summers. It's his son.
Oh man.
So you're like the bump moment comes after they have like a 7-page fight where he could have just been like, hey dad, I'm from the future, I need your help.
Right.
Like, so some of it you have to kind of suspend
disbelief. Maybe he's trying to
disbelief.
resolve some daddy issues.
Right, maybe. Anyway, I did enjoy the book. It was definitely
good. I'll
worth
check it
reading. I'll pick up the next, issues as they come out and check them out. I generally give Liefeld a wide berth, but it's fun. I enjoyed it.
Good.
So that was my books for the week. If you have something that you want us to read or something that, something that we should talk about.
Topics or anything we said wrong.
Yeah, or if I said a writer's name wrong, please let me know.
Yeah.
At clastisssue@gmail.com. And tell your friends.
Tell your family.
Yeah.
Tell your
dog.
bosses and your
Tell the whole family.
minions.
Yeah.
Shout it from the rooftops.
Shout it. I want to shout it from the rooftops. And go onto YouTube. All of our podcasts are uploaded onto YouTube as well. So like and subscribe on there. Go to iTunes and give us those 5-star reviews. Because I said last issue, I said, give us those 4-star reviews.
Yeah.
And someone, like my kid, I think of my son, like looked at me, he's like, you only want 4-star reviews? And I was like, how many stars can you give? And he's like, 5. And I'm like, oh, well shit, I gotta get on there and be
I
like,
thought you didn't want to speak too highly.
yeah,
of
well, right.
ourselves
Like,
right
no,
now.
give us a mediocre score.
an
Like,
average
we
review.
understand. No, give us 5 stars
Okay.
because we're gonna grow into them.
And in fact, add 2 stars to whatever you were going to rate to make up for all the 4-star ratings.
Absolutely. Yeah, for all the people that are gonna hate on us and say like these guys suck, go back to being a banker and go back to what did you do before here?
What, before podcasting?
Yeah.
Well, I still do it.
Oh, what do you do? What's your thing, Jimmy the Shoe?
Well, when I'm not here,
Uh-huh.
I'm usually sleeping in the daytime. I'm more of a night person. Come
Right.
out at night when it's dark. And
Right, but you have a job?
well, I do make money, if that's what you're saying. Is that what you're asking?
Okay.
Like, I have a steady source of income.
Okay, so like a trust fund?
So some of it comes from family.
Okay.
My grandfather traveled a lot.
Okay.
Not like he was being chased by anyone or anything. He just
Okay.
happened to travel from town to town and help out where he could. And
Oh,
so I'm trying to
okay.
take light in his stepfoot and go around from neighborhood to neighborhood, seeing who needs help and fixing situations. Kind of like a repairman.
Oh,
per se.
Like a handyman.
Yeah, like a handyman. Like
Oh,
I'm
okay.
there to help out where people can't find help.
Because I mean, like you kind of sounded kind of like vigilante there for a second, like you go in the sewers and you've told me about like
Yeah.
jumping across building tops and
Well, like,
and
if a lady's cat is stuck on a building and needs help getting it down, sometimes you just gotta take that leap of faith and hope you grab that cat by the tail and get it down from the building.
wow, the picture in my mind was not nearly as graceful as probably you are saying.
Yeah, it was a lot more graceful.
Right.
A lot of these are more of just like metaphors of what I'm actually doing.
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay. So you can't like literally speak about it. We're just
Well, I
talking in
can
metaphors.
figuratively speak about it.
Oh, okay.
So for a while I was helping with this band.
Okay.
They played at a local club, and I would help box everything up in the car and kind of do security outside.
Okay.
So got paid on the side for that. Only ran into a small bit of trouble, but it worked itself out in the end.
Wait. So, did these guys work at night?
Yeah, well, they're a band. They played at night.
Right. So, and you brought boxes in or out to the
Yeah,
the
I
van.
would hear the van would pull up. The band members would definitely arrive differently. They don't travel around in a band. They
Sure.
would probably go through the front entrance. This van would pull up in the back, and I would open up and take out all their musical equipment, these huge drum boxes and guitar cases and various big cases.
Oh, okay.
And I would just put them in the garage in the loading dock, shut the garage, and lock it, and then leave. They had to do it at night because we didn't want to disturb any of the other people in the area. I mean, it's a really respectable place.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if you should tell anyone that story, dude.
No. Is it because they only paid in cash? Like, they just said they wanted to save me paperwork, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. Let's keep that from everyone.
Okay.
But cool to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
doing this
I'll
too.
tell you some of those other crazy side jobs I've had.
Yeah,
next time we're on.
I'm curious now. We're gonna have to talk some more about this. So we are Starbuck and
Jimmy the Shoe.
And we are See Last Issue. Thanks so much for joining us this week. We apologize for the delay, and we expect that we will be on an increasingly regular schedule moving forward.
Some new comics next week.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with continuing to read kind of single issues that are recently released on Marvel Universe right now, or Marvel Unlimited, not DC Universe. So read what you like. Tell us what you think. Send us an email, seelastissue@gmail.com, and let us know what we should be reading, because
we're always
awesome.
looking for something new. I'll continue what I'm reading. I definitely pick up Guardians. That sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we are not just spokespeople for Marvel or DC Universe. When we do come across stuff that we think will suck, we will tell you that we think it sucks.
I'm gonna look for a scary comic since it's October now.
Yeah, good call. We'll look into that. And also, we don't have a website for the podcast yet, but we'll have to do that soon. In the meantime, for See Last Issue information on the web, you can go to antiquityradio.com. I have all of our episodes streaming there right on the homepage. And pretty soon I'll make at least a See Last Issue page so that we've got all of our stuff there. A landing page for that.
And we'll be getting on the social media pretty soon here.
Yeah. We've already gotten some emails. We'll start reading those pretty soon. So we thank all of you, and
yes, thank you.
Yeah, keep us in the loop. Tell us what we're doing right, and
keep listening, like and subscribe.
Listening. Like and subscribe, and we're gonna say goodnight for this week. So
talk to you soon.
Say goodnight, Jimmy.
Good night.
You're supposed to say good. Say
Good night, Jimmy.
All right, folks. Have a good night.